The mother of 5 was found dead on a hiking trail in Maryland in August of 2023. And you'll remember, it took several months, but a suspect was finally arrested. That suspect, Victor Hernandez Martinez, who was in the country illegally, by the way, from El Salvador, taken into custody in Tulsa, Oklahoma last month. He's charged with first-degree murder. He's also charged with rape and kidnapping. His attorneys are saying their client can't get a fair trial in Harford County, Maryland. The public defender's office representing him filing this motion stating their client, quote, has been the subject of nationwide public hatred and vilification after the case has been the subject of numerous inflammatory and prejudicial reports in both legacy and social media. Prosecutors filed a document saying they will seek a life sentence for him without the possibility of parole. And by the way, he's got 3 criminal cases pending. He's got a homicide case in El Salvador. That's right, he's accused of murdering a different woman there. And he's also got the home invasion case and the assault of a child in Los Angeles that he's accused of as well. So his legal problems run deep. And let's talk about this request and how it may be affecting the victim's family. Joining me now, attorney Randolph Rice, one of the high-profile criminal defense attorneys that appears regularly on this program, and we're so grateful for that. And he's also representing Rachel Morin's family. Randolph, great to have you here. Would you tell us, please, what the family's reaction was as soon as they got wind of this new request?
Sure. So this was something that we anticipated the defense filing from the very beginning. And so they were certainly aware that this was going to be filed. They were prepared for it. They certainly have concerns about it. But the fact that the motion is all of 4 pages, it's not very, I would say, robust. It's not a very vigorous argument. I think the defense probably knows it's not a very valid argument because they didn't really put a lot of effort into it. They have said that when they do get to court at the motions hearing later this month, they are going to present more evidence. But to be honest with you, it probably is not going to be enough for the judge to make a ruling.
Mm-hmm. Do you think would the family be absolutely opposed to it?
I think so, and in fact, you know, this is sort of a double-edged sword. I think it cuts both ways in the fact that the defense may want to have a change of venue, but at the same time, the victims want to have the case heard where this case matters, where the murder occurred, where it affected the community, which is Harford County. So I think it's something that the family definitely wants, and I know they want it to be heard in Harford County, Maryland.
Sure. You know, and Randolph, you were a prosecutor for a long, long time. So thinking like a prosecutor, curious what you think about the potential for a jury view to be beneficial of the area where Rachel was running that day when she was attacked. I'd be curious to know if residents know this area, if they frequent it, if others may be runners there. Your thoughts on that, please.
Well, sure, it's certainly beneficial to have jurors that are familiar with the area, with the scene. But remember, the judge is going to make sure that those jurors aren't bringing any type of bias into this case. So this is a question ultimately that's going to come down to jury selection and voir dire at that time. The judge is going to say, do you know anything about the case? If you do know anything about this case, has it affected your perspective or your ability to be unbiased going forward and judging this case?
Mm-hmm. Right, right. You know, yeah, I would just think this would be beneficial in case they need to see where this happened, in case there's anything tricky about it. Randolph, would you say that it's an area that you'd want to see in person to understand how this was able to happen in broad daylight without anyone being able to come to Rachel's rescue?
Absolutely. And if I'm the prosecutor, just like the burn pile case, I'm putting a motion in to have the jurors go to the scene to walk that area. Because remember, she was grabbed, attacked on that trail and dragged off that trail into a culvert where her body was ultimately found. That's important for a jury to see that. So if I'm a prosecutor, I'm setting up that scene. I'm asking that judge, let's put these jurors on a bus. It's not a very long trip. Let's take them out there. We'll control the scene and have them see exactly where we allege this crime happened.
Right, right, Randolph. I have a clip. I know you've seen this clip before. Rachel's mom, Patty, speaking out, talking about all the patience that was needed to get to the point of arrest. Let's take a look.
At one point, when things seemed like really bleak and hopeless, the lead detective said to me, he said, patience will win in the end. And That's what they've been doing. They've been diligently working very hard, and they've been patiently working through all the leads. And it's because of that that we have an arrest today.
Such a sweet family. We've had the pleasure of speaking with some of them. Rachel's sister, Erin, one of them who's come on this program multiple times, throughout the progression of the case. And it hasn't been easy for them. It's been horrific. It's been a living nightmare. And Randolph, you really understand this better than anybody in the public can, because you're in constant communication with them. Would you kind of help us understand the torture, the torment that they've all gone through since Rachel's horrific homicide?
Sure. So if you remember back in August of 2023, we had this video, this doorbell camera video, and we had DNA. And at that time, if you would have asked me, I would have said this is a slam dunk. They'll have this person within days, if not weeks. But it took 10 months ultimately for them to find him, with a lot of great police work when they did ultimately find him in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I can tell you the family was certainly losing some hope because it was taking so long. But what we didn't know was the detectives and the FBI were working so hard behind the scenes in tracking this guy down to ultimately make that arrest. Now that may have closed the door on that portion of the grief. Now the new door has been opened, and they're having to deal with that long hallway of dealing with the judicial process. We have a motions hearing that they're going to have to go through at the end of this month. And ultimately the trial is scheduled for April later this year. It'll just be one more step in the process for the family, but they certainly had been, I think, taking it in stride, understanding. We've been telling them, here, this is what to expect next. This is what to expect next. And I think that certainly helped them through the process.
Yes, yes. Oh, I know you've been a tremendous advocate for them, Randolph. I have a clip I want to play for you now. This is Sheriff Jeff Gaylor with Harford County talking about how they were able to do the link with the DNA.
The lead we received was related to DNA evidence and allowed investigators to finally put a name to the image of the suspect in the video from Los Angeles, which we released 2 weeks after Rachel's death. After we had the video, we knew what he looked like. We knew what he looked like, but we didn't know who he was. With the new DNA evidence, now we know who he is, but we still didn't know where he was.
Randolph, with this guy having 3 major criminal cases, does it surprise you at all that this guy is going to trial?
You know, it doesn't surprise me, because I think that he thinks he's untouchable, and the fact that he's committed so many different crimes and he escalated. Well, he really didn't escalate. He alleged to have raped and murdered a woman at the start in his home country of El Salvador. Then he goes to California in March of 23 and commits a home invasion and a sexual assault. Then it ultimately comes to Maryland and allegedly commits another rape, kidnapping, and murder. So it won't surprise me if he goes to trial, because I think that he's so brazen that he thinks that he somehow can keep getting away with things, and he won't have any consequences in his life.
I couldn't agree with you more. Attorney Randolph Rice, always wonderful having you on the show. We'll see you another day, I know, very soon for some analysis on some other cases. But thank you for sharing all of this about Rachel Morin's case. We're continuing to keep her memory alive.